Hopefully you guys can hear me. Today is 417. So we're gonna do some chest here. Chest and tries, light tries, what heavy chest. We'll go ahead and start off with 80s. Do 3 sets with 80. We'll go ahead and drop sit down to 70s. We'll go to flat bench, 135. After flat, we'll go to incline, and then we'll go to the flies. Looking forward to this day, most definitely. I got a little thing today. Forgot to tell you guys, but I got some fucking liquid chalk. Hopefully it's okay. I hope you guys can hear me just as much as I can hear you slamming those weights. I'm going to go from 80s to 60s now. And except for doing the original chest press style, I'm going to go ahead and do the basically hammer, like hammer positioning. So we're just pressing up here, just pretty much just squeezing the chest in as much as possible. We'll just go for 8 to 12 for 2 sets, and then we'll go ahead and drop set on this one. So obviously minus 20 pounds, so about 40. And then after this, we'll head over to the bench do some benching, and then we'll go down a decline bench, and then we'll also go to incline and flies with cables, and then after that, some triceps. So let's get to this. Remember, so ideally what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to feel my muscle fibers in the chest squeeze together. No, now look at those fucking hands. Yeah. All right. So now that we stepped away from dumbbells, we're going to do some flat bench. And then after this, we're going to go over to the incline or decline, and then we'll transition up to incline. So this one, just 3 sets of 10. So it'll be 30 repetitions in total, divided into 3 sets. So really just focusing on the incline, or no, really just focusing on the dip of my chest and just kind of bringing it together. Now a lot of people, they'll have different types of, everyone's built differently. So The way I grip the bar is really just kind of close, so, and a bit, just a little bit working towards the inside of my chest here. Um, so there's a big difference in your hand positioning and how your body lays. So if you're doing flat, you're going to be targeting a lot of your chest and a lot of everything. So, and then with the closer grip, you'll be working more side of the dip and pretty much the togetherness of the chest. So really, when you're doing powerlifting and stuff, you're going to be like arching your back like fucking crazy and shit. So, but for lightweight and lighter reps and sets, originally and traditionally, you're really just gonna have to really just target as much as you can on the inner chest. So, but we'll do 10, and then after the 10, we'll go ahead and do, after the flat bench, we'll go to decline, and then after decline, we'll go to incline, and then we'll go ahead and go to the cables. And for that one, I'm just gonna bring the bench and chest in as much as possible. Or the cables I'll bring the bench to the cables, because initially I just love that feeling. But let's get to this. Look at that transition. See that? That's why I love liquid chalk. It doesn't get all over the place and everything. It's cool. But let's go ahead and get this in here. I'm gonna put you guys right here. Okay, pretty much the cables are taking right now, but I am just gonna go ahead and do the, we're gonna do 3 sets with this, with the incline. Really just focusing on the squeezing of the chest, especially on the upper pec. So I'm just gonna hold on the release. We'll just do 10 solid good ones for 2 sets. And then hopefully the cables are open, and then we'll be able to do some flies. Okay, last set here. Instead of drop setting or keeping them the same weight, I'm gonna go ahead and just do 10 reps with this. Nice and slow. And then we'll go to the fucking cables right after. It doesn't look like no one's gonna be on there for a bit, so. Let's see if I'll be able to do 10. But it's worth a try. Okay. Oh yeah. best recommendation to do flies, but this intricately really engages the fucking muscles where I want to be. And plus, like, I don't know, it just feels good.
Are you competing? Okay, we'll give it a shot.
Drop setting, just a 4. Okay, now we'll do a drop set, so about 40 reps till the chest starts cramping.
He does it like super easy. Oh my god, no. No.
I just need to go to the deep place. Oh, come on. That's all. Ouchie. Okay. We're gonna do some fucking triceps now. Woo. I think we should do the rope ones. Oh, before. Okay, so we'll do 4 sets, 10 reps with whatever 4 is. Actually, challenge myself to 6. And these ones, I usually don't do ropes, but ropes is gonna be one of my very few options for doing triceps. But I mean, after I seen this one video, I forgot who it was. I was watching a video the other day, and they were doing triceps. Instead of coming here, what he did is he came here, kind of roached, and then he just went outside. So basically, just initially flexing the triceps. I kind of wish that life is lifing right now. It's kind of crazy because I remember I wasn't really able to initially do, there was a point in my life where I wasn't really able to do anything. And coming to the gym really opened up my aspect and my perspective on how I was living my life. And, you know, I feel like everyone thinks they're doing their best. Certain people, and they're really not. You know, they have so much more in their bottle of success. And some people don't really get to pop the cap off and keep overflowing. And some people, well, they stay within the bottle, almost popping the cap off, but really staying inside the bottle still. Initially, I feel like, if you are comfortable where you're at and you like your life, by all means, keep doing what you're doing. And if you think you have some room to improve, well then, it's not really rocket science. It's pretty much just your back voice or back intuition telling yourself that, yeah, I have to do more. So, oh shit. So basically just, take life right now as a grain of salt, because, sometimes life can be salty. And, if you're stuck or you want to break out what you're doing usually or something, just really focus on improving. And, don't tell anybody what you can and cannot do in your life, because you live only one life. And, if your father tells you you're going to have to work in his shop for the rest of his life, and that's not what you want to do, you don't have to do that. If your mom is telling you, you can't do this because, you're going to make me mad. But if it benefits you, make your mom mad and then make her proud. But in the long run, it will benefit you. And if you end up having kids or anything, it will benefit your family too as well. So, your life is your life, and the way you make it is, how you live it. And if you, like I said, you feel like you can do more, there's always room for improvement. That was 12. Okay. I'm probably gonna head out of here after this one more set, and then we'll drop set, go to failure, and we'll get out of here. Do the closeout. I'm telling you. Blackville Bride's Legacy. It's a good song to listen to be honest. Very, very underrated band, but what can I say? It's good to stay underrated than overrated, right? I'm gonna do one more set, but I'm gonna increase this by 10 pounds, and then we'll drop down to 4. Going the distance is the best thing for yourself. Sorry, I'm just super locked in here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, shit. Okay. Today was amazing. I have zero complaints for today. Oh, it was pretty good. We were here since 12:30 and it's already 4:15. So we've been here about 3.5, almost 5 hours. So, but yeah, today was good. Like I said, zero complaints for today. We were able to achieve failure in almost every fucking exercise that we did for chest today. And we also did failures for triceps as well. So, gradually increasing weight over time and just really focusing on the form and really engaging the muscle. And, just doing at least between 8 to 12 reps for, I used to do 4 sets, but now I'm doing 3, but increasing weight. So intensity is pretty high. Volume is pretty, let's say significant to as intensity, but yeah, like I said, it was pretty good. Zero complaints for today. We did flat first, then we did incline, then we did decline, then we did flies. And last week when I did flies with the cables, I used the incline machine bench, but today I ended up doing just the seated bench, which was honestly better because one, it was smaller, so I was able to manage and move that shit across the gym. And two, it gave me more range, and that's why I was able to really just come up here and bring my fucking chest and squeezing that shit. But yeah, I mean, and then we also did triceps at the very end there. But tomorrow is going to be arm day, so we're going to do some more triceps and some biceps and some shoulders. And then, yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for tomorrow. But yeah, I kept thinking today was the amount of people who showed up today. I keep seeing the same faces every day, which is amazing because it just shows you that people are improving, people are wanting to do better for themselves, and I'm also seeing some new faces too as well. So there is definitely a big hierarchy there for people who want to improve themselves. But if you're like a month into working out and like you love this so much and you're sometimes finding it hard to get to the gym or even just show up in general, don't really rely on motivation. Motivation is good, trust me. I get myself motivated. I'll be in the car listening to fucking Jay Cutler edits and Tom Platz edits or Frank Zane or, the list goes on. But really, get that motive and have some goals for yourself and just build up to it. And then over time, you'll start building discipline. So it's really all about discipline. And I tell you guys this all the time, but when you go into the gym, people think it's all physical first. It's not. What it really is about is the mentality state of it. And that's why some people, they get to a certain point where they're like, okay, I'm done. I've been going to the gym for a month and that's it. No, it doesn't work like that. If you want to see change and improvements over time, because great things take time, you gotta stay dedicated and you gotta be disciplined. You gotta tell yourself, I have to go. And if I don't, then why did I even start in the first place? So, and there's a lot of people out there in the world that really wants to go to the gym and they really want to, improve themselves and they want to, do what you do. But in reality, they can't. So, and just get to tell yourself, I get to go to the gym, I get to go work out, I get to look bigger, I get to look better for myself, and just, and all in all, I get to feel better inside. And like I said, people think it's physical at first, and it really isn't. It's the mentality. Mentality of showing up is important. The mentality of getting to that extra 3 to 5 reps towards your end of your set. It's all about really just focusing on yourself and boxing yourself in. And once you start doing this, your mind's going to open up in different perspectives and ways to where if you start applying the things in the gym out in life, you'll start benefiting yourself as well. You may lose some friends, you may not lose some friends. And for those friends that stick around, those are your real friends. For those friends who leave you and just like, oh, that's it. Those aren't your friends. Those are your friends that are going to drag you down the long run and down the life, and they don't want to see you improve yourself. So, start applying the benefit to risk ratio to life and in the gym too as well. Because, if you start applying the benefit to risk ratio, for example, on chest press or legs or cardio or back or rear delts or, you name it. For example, I can do a method here where, guy A goes into the gym, he gets 100 pounds for chest, and he's like, all right, what is the benefit of me doing this right now? The benefit of you doing this right now would be you get to build muscle, you get to improve your strength, your mentality, and you really get to see what you're capable of. And then you build upon that. The risk would be, not focusing on your form, you might fuck some shit up. You might not be able to execute the weight, but that's okay. You can build up to it. And just if you start applying this to life too, you'll start seeing your eyes open way more than it is. Because, a lot of people think they're at where they're at. In reality, they're not where they want to be because they're not trying hard enough. So, if you're going to college or you're doing a job or something, what's the benefit of you going to college? Well, you get a degree, you get to get a nice job, you get to make some money. What's the risk? You might be in some debt, depending on your situation. And, you might lose the people who you've been talking to your whole life and they don't agree with you going to college and they tell you that's fucking stupid. Well, look at their lives and then compare it to yours and say, look, I'm going to school for the better of myself to prove to what I can do and what my capabilities are. I'm not proving to you what I can do just to show you. So, get out there and really, show yourself what you can do and, take life with a grain of salt because, you're not promised tomorrow. I'm not promised tomorrow. Everybody in the gym is not promised tomorrow. You can instantly everything can be taken away from you at any moment. So really appreciate, what you can do and where you're at in life. And like I said, if you can really improve yourself and, apply the benefit to risk ratio to your life, you'll be seeing yourself skyrocket. So, but, it's really in the aspect of, just proving to yourself what you can and cannot do. I just saw somebody leave the gym without wiping their fucking equipment. Guys, it's not that hard, If you're gonna do some weight or you're gonna be working out or you're gonna be doing something for yourself, respect your communal courtesy. If you get done using a machine, please wipe it. Unrack your weights and, just be a better person. Because it just shows me that, if you can't wipe or pick up after yourself or, do communal courtesy, I just wonder what you're like at home. So, but that's pretty much it. Get out there, show yourself what you can do, prove to yourself what you can do. Start being, at least, if you can't be 1% better, you can at least be 0.01% better. So I'm gonna get out of here. Like I said, tomorrow's gonna be arm day. Remember, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're beautiful. Stay strong, stay disciplined, and of course,